All right, I want to take a look at this. She did Wart the Wizard, and that was for kids, I think, and this is for adults. And I scrolled through the whole thing. I looked at all the art. Fantastic. The guy she works with is Peter Gilmore? Unless that's a musician. I want to say Peter Graves, but that's an actor. It's Peter somebody. One of the covers is by John Malin. Looks fantastic, but so does the Peter cover. I probably should find his name. Gilmore, I think. Though I thought that was a musician for like an alt-rock band of the 80s and 90s. Gilmore, whatever. Book looks fantastic. I'll put the link. The link's already up on. You can click my links to go to all these campaigns. It looks really, really good for adults, and it's already funded like overnight. So you can read the story, check out the art. It looks fan-freaking-tastic. I think as a group, there's no group more condescending and patronizing than people who work in comics. He's probably at the top of that condescending food chain. Okay, do I take his weirdest post first? He says Comicsgate is tied into the, let me just say, the identitarian movement who wears Hugo Boss. And he mentions a website, the Stormfront, is somehow pushing Comicsgate comics. In case you're unfamiliar, it's a humorous website that jokes about lizard people, moon landings, and flat earth, that kind of stuff. Some people might find it offensive, but those people are known as pussies, which makes me wonder, why is Zircher reading this site if he's so easily offended? Maybe SJWs are just soft pussies. Stop being a pussy. First of all, you're free to read any website or books that you wish. If Storm scares Patch, then that must mean it's a great website. Go read it and check it out for yourself. Always make your own decisions. Don't let anyone tell you what to think, especially not soy boy skirts like Patch. And if you search his face, the first image that comes up is the image that looks exactly like the drawing of the soy boy sketch that I think EVS did years ago. It's of course, the beard, that, sometimes the hat, sometimes problematic glasses, but they will always have that half smile, because you will never see an SJW with an open, honest smile. They do the smirk, I'm better than you, and what it really means is, I have nothing to smile about in Trump's America. I cannot smile while there's an injustice being done somewhere on Earth. Think about it for a second. I guarantee you that is what that smile means. Patch is angry, and he's pretty much just throwing mud against the wall. Comicsgate is a group of thousands of people. Maybe the, hardcore buyers, like 10,000, but there's probably 150,000 people who would loosely associate with CG. You're going to have all kinds of people involved. But Comicsgate doesn't have to take a pledge not to abuse women. That's what you guys do. Because apparently you guys abuse women. Most Comicsgate projects are done over the internet. You're not even in the same state as each other. Patch is angry that he and his cronies are losing the ability to be gatekeepers because they absolutely are losing their power. Imagine working in an industry where if you read the wrong papers, you'll be set upon by the woke mob, where you aren't allowed to be a Christian, a nationalist, or have a MAGA or American flag in your bio. It's a business where the least talented people have the most power, where people like Ren are important voices that must be taken seriously. Renfamous was a female cosplayer who got some fame by attacking Comicsgate. The guys who follow her are all about 300 pounds. I guarantee every one of Ren's followers pay for sex, and they have to pay extra. Patch says if you work with CG, then the mainstream will close their doors to you. Everyone in the comics is saying, so what, the industry is dead anyway. But let's think about that comment. Why would an industry blacklist you for supporting independent comics? That's what Comicsgate is. Why is that acceptable? And why would anyone want to be part of an industry that will blacklist you for your association? Comicsgate is a way to sell independent comics. That's it. It's not a cult, religion, or political group. The rules are no SJWs, respect the customers. All the mainstream people have the BLM in their icons. That's a Marxist organization that is shaking down businesses for money, like the mafia. Members have struggle-snuggled and yeeted 36 people. They have looted millions. No AOC. They're not stealing bread. They're stealing shoes. The rules never apply to them. They had to sign a pledge not to rape their work girlfriends, and they think they have the moral high ground. He says you wouldn't work in the mainstream. Why would you want to? It's a hostile work environment if you're a straight white dude, and they probably wouldn't hire you in the first place. People were working for Marvel making $30,000 a year to live with roommates in rat-infested apartments. Why? Because that blue check mark is worth more than money to them. That is how addicted to social media they are. You may wonder, why not just live outside the city and self-publish? Because their comics suck and nobody wants to buy them. Sounds a little simplistic. No One Left to Fight by Aubrey Sitterson. Issue 5 was down to 3,300 issues. Why did it only sell 3,000 copies? Because it was diversity propaganda. Diversity is, I'll say, lame. Nobody wants to read your diversity nonsense. America is sick of it, and your customers are definitely not interested. Or maybe I should say, people are sick of the SJW's version of diversity. Whatever you're doing isn't working. If you must have it, read Jawbreakers. That's how you do it organically. By the power of 1,000 slaves, I just can't imagine why that line bothered the SJWs. Renfmus is especially triggered by that line. Renfmus, take the fire hose to the gays. Renfmus. The thing is, everything bothers the SJWs. They are outraged all the time. What is the important stuff? Who knows? And why would we take them seriously when they call us Hugo Boss wearing fascies? On Aubrey Sitterson's issue 5, he and his whole team made about $1,400 split between everyone. He and his team could be making much more, probably 10 times as much, if they got rid of the politically correct stuff. And to be honest, he might be afraid to. But ignore the people who don't pay you. Pay attention to the customers, not to the Twitter mobs. How do I say this? Okay, organic diversity versus Aubrey Sitterson's type of diversity. Do I want to say this? Organic diversity is you've got like Jawbreakers, a military team from people all over the world. Aubrey Sitterson's type of diversity is he's got people vaguely human, with some with blue hair and some with pink hair, who are, I guess, vaguely white, and then the guy's wife has green hair, but she's black-ish. That's his type of diversity, and it just feels like somebody is writing it to push propaganda. That's not how you do it organically. You have, God, I hate this. I mean, to say this in 2020 sounds so obnoxious, but I'm talking in terms of sales. If you want the black guy in your comic, you make him a guy who's on the team, or you make him a guy who's the bad guy or the good guy, but you don't push the girl in there and then have the kids, like, that was bizarre. Some of the kids were black and some of the kids were white. They weren't mixed. They were like clearly one or the other. What are you doing with that? People will suspend disbelief for so far, but they won't. You can't do what he did in No One Left to Fight. Anyway, so Patch and the rest want to protect their corner. They see themselves as in control of comics, and they're absolutely right. But it drives them crazy that a group is able to bypass the gatekeepers. Oh, but we're a prestigious, legitimate industry. You'll get a blue check mark and an Eisner Awards if you join our club and toe the politically correct line. And if you don't want to join, you're probably Yahtzees. So the biggest sellers in or associated with Comicsgate are EBS, DNC, Tenaple, Malin, I can't say his name, Art Thilbert, and Cecil. Cecil's going to get to $250,000. You were saying that this mixed race group of people want their own ethno-state. Because words have meanings. When you call people the words you use, all those words have definitions. And people either have to meet those definitions or you're lying. A material misrepresentation of the truth. And plot twist, you people are lying. And no, people like Patch are not saying that this small group it belongs to that group because that's defamation, is actionable. But they wouldn't want to go that far. But they are saying that the customers are associated with those groups. First of all, so what? Would you sell your comic to an ex-convict convicted of the most heinous crimes against women? What about a drug dealer or a looter? What about someone who abandoned his kids and didn't pay support? Do your customers need a purity check? Oh, the rules don't apply to the SJWs. They don't need to vet their customers. Only Comicsgate needs to vet their customers. Not for crimes, but against wrong think and associations with people they disagree with. There is no more wretched hive of scum and villainy than mainstream comics. What did C.S. Lewis say about the tyranny of moral busybodies? They will never stop until they have you under their thumb. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I really didn't stick that ending there, did I? But nobody gets the ending anyway. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Mandy. I almost said Mandy Brights, and that's an adult film star from the 90s. Mandy Summers. It just keeps screwing up. Mandy Summers comic. I already forgot the name of it. Not Wart the Wizard, but the other one. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next episode.